Hi. Hello, hi, and hello. All of those things, in whatever order you prefer. Hello! Hi, Chip. Hi, Doc. How you doing? Are you having good? Oh, my hand is all clunky today. That's a good sign. Hello! Hi-ho! Hi-ho. It's off to Columbia we go. With a bucket and a spade and a... God, I've got nothing. You made Shrek. Do I want to ask what you mean by that? I'm not entirely sure I want to ask what you mean by that. But I'm going to ask. What do you mean by that? Look in the Discord. Where in the Discord? Vidjigum. Where is Vidjigum? Why do I have that muted? That's weird. Oh, Elden Ring. That's why I have that muted. My word. How much have I missed? Unmute. Scroll. Oh my word. Well, it's sort of like... It's sort of like a cross between Shrek and George Takei. Oh my. That's Christy. Hello, you have Choco Pops. Lovely. Okay, I've now unmuted Vigigam. I forgot I muted that. Yes, now I'm using division by 4 kilometers. Thank you very much. Closed captions. Twitch just posting the double tomato smile for you. It does that occasionally. It doubles emotes. I'm not sure why. It's the best you can do with the tools available. It's a good time. Yeah. Hi. Welcome to the Bioshock Infinites. For there are multiple, as far as I know. It'd be weird if I had the only copy. Yeah. We're back. We're back in Columbia. Or a Columbia, I guess. This is technically the third one, right? We started in one, then we went to another, then we went to another. Because shenanigans. So, let's go. Let's have a hop over and a quick recap of what happened last time. Because I can't remember where we went to last time. Okay, yeah. So the time before last, we finished with the Issa stabbing someone through the chest. Who she stabbed through the chest at this point in the story doesn't matter. It's never brought up again. But given that she has been very much separate from the violence and vocally against it at times, this has not fared well for her mental well-being. But we managed to get the airship that we've been after for a while. That's good. We get on there. Issa finds a change of clothes, just so happens to have been the dress that her mother wore, because this is the Lady Jefferson Memorial airship. Presumably has a copy of her dress. She also cut her hair. Other than symbology, I don't know why. Maybe that was too covered in blood as well. Don't know. Could have washed it. Last time was the time of impossible never tenses. Yes. The past participle, non-never present tense. You adore that redoing your character's appearance is free in Elden Ring. Is it? I didn't know that. Well, I did a really bad job at making M, so... It's always my way. If there's a character creator with a silent protagonist, I go with them. You're gonna luck, because writing in chat makes you nogginoey. Oh no! Well, enjoy Cocoa Pops. I'm sure the story will be very sensible and won't hurt your head at all. Yeah, so Issa's cut her hair and is wearing a dress which I have drawn, in retrospect, much less revealingly than the original. I can't remember why I looked up the... Oh yeah, I was drawing Malachi in it. Next to Hug Lady, there's... I don't know who Hug Lady is. No, I've got there because I have the achievement. Hug Lady? Oh, Oh, right, okay. I didn't hug her. Which is weird. Anyway, the things. Yeah, dress, so on and so forth. We got the airship. We go and fly away. Unfortunately, on the airship is also a statue with some panpipes. and it goes, what's the tune? How's the tune go? I've forgotten, it's gone. But it plays a tune, and after that, what am I, maidenless? Oh, I'm fine, I got maiden, it's good, don't worry about it. And Chicken arrives. It's Chicken, everybody. Come in to say hello to Issa. Promptly destroys the airship, which we spent the last 7 or 8 streams trying to get. Chicken. Doing a good job. We crash land and find these two playing a piano. And they're sort of not very well playing a tune, but Issa's freaking out because she knows the tune they're trying to play. Like, oh God, stop it! But they manage to successfully play it, and nothing happens. And they're like, well, the tune was correct, but the instrument was not. And then they hand us a piece of paper, which doesn't make any sense, and we move on. They disappear because they have a habit of doing that. We then arrive at a place, we shoot a bunch of people. Basically everybody's being evacuated from Colombia because the Vox Populi are just full rebellion. Big old war, civil war in the streets. Yeah, everyone's leaving, apart from soldiers, which is convenient for the purposes of game design because you don't have to make any more civilians and just shove soldiers everywhere. We get to an office which we need a code to get into a lift for, so we look for the code. Unfortunately, while we're looking for a code, a statue appears with panpipes, which means Chicken's here. Hello, Chicken! And we have a nice little Jurassic Park moment, and Issa remarks that she would literally rather us kill her than her get captured to go back to the tower. To demonstrate this, she grabs our hand and puts it on her throat. She is serious. Junkin. We then enter Emporia. Actually, do we enter Emporia? Then the scene happens with the two people, the man and the woman, who finish each other's sentences, in which they're making absolutely no sense and they're actively teleporting from one location to another. So they're clearly, something's weird about them. But then again, our deuteragonist in this story can hop between dimensions. So who isn't weird? And yeah, Issa remarks that one of them is the scientist, the female one is the scientist who helped create Columbia, or the ability for Columbia to fly. Or as she would say, it's not strictly speaking flying, it's just not falling. And they have remarks about the fact that, you know, they seem to finish each other's sentences, but it would be weirder if they didn't. Various bits and pieces happen. They get very confused about grammar because they have a strange perspective of time, of things having happened or having not happened, or having will but going to have been happening. Anyway, enough of that. We arrive at a gate, and the gate says, it sees Issa and goes, "Oh, hey, Mrs. Jefferson, how you doing? You're looking pretty good for 18 years dead." And we try and get in with a handprint, doesn't work. And Issa's like, well, there's a graveyard nearby. Let's go get a hand. Because Issa's having none of it. We then arrive at the grave. As you can see, everything went well. We arrive at the grave, and as we try and pry open the coffin, there's a glass coffin for the purposes of voyeurism, I guess. Issa's gone off the deep. Issa's had enough, and I don't blame her. Quite frankly. So yeah, we get here and we try and open the coffin, and then a bunch of weird massive speakers come out and are pointed at Issa, and the prophet, Father Jefferson, says, you know, oh, the false shepherd is leading you astray, and I shall, you know, spare the rod, hate the child, or whatever. And then the speakers go vroom, 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 vroom. Strange things happen to Issa, and then her mother turns into a ghost and flies away. And by flies away, I mean resurrects a bunch of soldiers to shoot at us, then flies away. I don't know why they still have guns, but they buried with guns. That's a bit weird. Anyway. If you're going to ask questions, you're going to be here a while. Meanwhile, after we've done this, oh yeah, this is me explaining the thing where we're going up and they're sort of hopping from thing to thing being weird. Meanwhile, they're both here, digging in graves that both say Locksman, and they're talking about, well, we ask, you know, oh, why is you know, Lady Jefferson. By the way, I looked at the credits of the game. I think she's just called Lady Jefferson. I don't think she's ever given a first name. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's somewhere, but she's credited as Lady Jefferson, so. Or the equivalent thereof. Yeah, so we say, oh, why is she a ghost? And they pipe up and say, why do you ask why when the delicious question is when? And then there's the phrase, dies, died, will die, lives, lived, will live. It's all a matter of perspective. Of course, you know that's an amendment thing, alright, to be buried with arms. Well, don't take people's arms off before they're buried. I know you can get thinner coffins that way, but... that I do. If like you just got like a really thin coffin and then two tiny coffins next to it where the arms are in. Just... Sorry, I'm being silly. And they say that there's... I don't know, I'm in a weird mood. Hi miss, how you doing? Welcome to Arm Coffin Talk. It was just the image that popped into my mind of like being buried without arms, and I thought, what would you do with the arms? Oh, they'd have their own little coffins. Apparently this is hilarious to me. Apparently me as well. I don't know. How you doing, miss? You alright? Welcome. You're not wrong. It feels inefficient, but there's a lot of wasted space. You know, they taper the coffin towards the legs, but ultimately, if you just get the arms out of there, you can make it straight. I used to bury amputated limbs. Oh, that's nice. Coffins, headstones, the works. I guess it would be like shoulder stones. What was I saying? This stream's gone off the rails very quickly. And it wasn't even anything to do with the game. Okay, so the locksmiths are digging graves with their own names on them. In America, conspiracy pastors get to jail. I mean, I've been in jail certainly since I've started streaming. Hello, Jack Salmon, beloved by everyone. Rest in peace. What's the character from Resident Evil? How many tiny little gravestones has he had for all his hands? Anyway. Enough of that. Ethan has all the... Ethan, that's the one. Fungus Man. Apparently he's fungus. I can't even make a joke and it not be true. Yes, so they're digging their own graves. Spoilers? Spoilers. I'm literally about to explain why it's a spoiler. And yeah, they say, oh yeah, in order to understand this whole ghost thing and in order to get her to cooperate, you're going to need to uncover the 3 truths that exist in this area, because game design. And then poof, they vanish. While you're wandering around here, you also find Gregoris Termini's brother, his little musical workshop where he's plagiarizes songs from other dimensions / the future. He lies Jack's other arm. No one like this arm. It will not be missed. Yeah, and you can hear, I think you can hear like Cyndi Lauper's Girls Wanna Have Fun or something like that. And I think there's like a piano version of it as well. Or no, there's a piano version of Everybody Wants to Rule the World. But anyway. Stuff. So we go wandering around, and there are 3 places we need to go. We needed to go to the photographers, we needed to go to the lab, and we needed to go to the bank. We went to the photographers first, in which we found the death photo of the, as it turns out, brother and sister, Flora and Fauna Locksman. And we hear through a tear the portals that Issa can find and rip open. We hear the person who took the photo being chastised by the Locksmans for not doing a very good job of their photo, despite the fact that they're dead. And the photographer is just as surprised as I think anybody would be if somebody chastises you for doing a bad job of photographing their corpse. Spray paint over the grave. Jack's right arm was a war criminal. I mean, the left was an accomplice. Well, it is sinister. So that's a bit weird. As if they weren't weird already. We then go to the lab, which turns out to be the apartment of, or the house of, Flora and Fauna Locksman, where it's just full of machinery, just like breaking through walls and ceilings and stuff. They had no particular care for anything other than their work. And we find quite a few things out here. We find, well, the first thing we find is a tear through which we hear Lady Jefferson absolutely screaming her head off at Flora Locksman, accusing her of sleeping with Father Jefferson and Issa being her child. Flora dismisses her very calmly, saying, "I assure you, I have absolutely no relations with your prophet," and tells her that she is the product of the experiments that they've been doing here, although she's unlikely to believe that. We also discover that Father Jefferson is in fact sterile as a consequence of being exposed to these experiments. Hello, Kiro. How are you doing? Welcome. We're back to talking about Father Jefferson's balls again. What else do we learn here? We also learned that Flora and Fauna were communicating for a while before they sort of could properly get together by manipulating atoms in a quantum way, and when they finally could get together, the brother came down with a severe illness, but Flora looked after him, and now they're whatever they are now. And then they died, I guess, at some point. And then they stopped being dead. Oh no, we do actually find a diary that says, from Flora's perspective, saying, yes, well, it turns out that we're dead, but we're also not dead. I think we're in some sort of quantum state of being simultaneously dead and alive. We're just sort of everywhere right now. It's a bit weird, but we'll get through it. That's what you're doing, Chris. I'm still thinking about arm graves. That's fair. Right. So. There's got to be a good pun there. Can't think of one. No, that's a really bad one. When you joked about Chicken Guard and the balls, you didn't think they'd get mentioned so much. Yeah, turns out. Although I think that's possibly the last time we'll actually mention them. So. Arms graves. The best I could do was like a bicepitary, like a cemetery, but that doesn't work. No. Ashes to ashes, buff to buff. I don't know. Anyway, we're moving on. Now we're going to the bank. Last place we've got to go. So let's do that. We go to the bank. What happens in the bank? You fight a bunch of people. Issa starts flipping through documents and discovers that the bank is owned by Lord Jefferson, and every single piece of money that is transferred to and from the bank, 50% of it goes straight to Father Jefferson as a tithe. So, you know, this has got his business head on, by which I mean he's just extorting people. I don't know why I remember that. I just do. He's got to fund this somehow, I guess. What does happen here? You sort of find bits and pieces as you're going along, and I'm trying to remember sort of in what order these things happen. What you find them in. In a bank, you exchange and negotiate monetary gains, 50% of which goes to the profit. Oh yeah, I apparently last time it had developed that, or it had transpired that I have not done a very good job of pointing out that Father Jefferson is a prophet. By which I mean he has predictions of the future, which turn out to be pretty accurate. 50%, yes. It's a lot, isn't it? What do I draw here? I guess there's a tear. We can go to the tear. There's like a vault. And you get to the vault and there's some stuff in the vault. Is there actually anything worth drawing in the bank? It's a big area and it's pretty cool. as you're going through it, but nothing really plot heavy, apart from just the occasional voice thing and a tear. So I'll just draw a tear. So there's another tear. It's surrounded by a pile of money. It's on like a pillar or something, and then you fight some stuff. You find a lot of crow people, because apparently the crow people, if you remember from a very long time ago, the crow people were of an order of people who like worshipped Lady Jefferson. Draw a baby chicken and talk about what happens with the bank. It's a bad chicken. There we go, Bab Chickum. Yeah, we find a tear. And through the tear, we don't hear... Well, actually, before that, we hear a few little vinyl diaries, I guess. In particular, we hear one from Lady Jefferson, which is like, I know my husband has killed people, but he can't do, because he's a holy man. But I also know that he cheats and lies. But he can't have done that because he's holy. And why would God want a person like to do all those things? And he forgave me, so surely I should forgive him. I'm not having a good time with my conscience. So there's some questions going around. She's got, you know, because she was like, the first thing we ever heard her say was from the Hall of Heroes. There was a diary of hers which was like, I was a sinner and everybody cast me out and nobody would forgive me, but he forgave me. So obviously she owes him a lot in terms of sort of stability of life, and now she's starting to discover that he's a bit of a questionable person himself. Speaking of questionable people, we hear the voice of Gregorus Termini. Hooray, he's back! Do you remember that? Do you remember him, the racist mustachio gentleman who owns slaves, but not technically? We hear his voice, and somebody else who's this guy I can't particularly remember. And you remember him and you wish you didn't. Well, get ready to dislike him even more, because he is being contracted to kill Flora and Fauna Locksman. By the Prophet. The Prophet is the one asking him to kill Flora and Fauna Locksman. And they're asking him because he can make it look like an accident. And in exchange, he will get all the patents of the inventions that they made. And he likes that, because he likes stealing things. Apart from a garbage person, he's also a murderer. I know! Strange that, isn't it? Although he's not a murderer, of course. Maybe people in his employ maybe did some things that he didn't necessarily explicitly ask for, but... yeah, so turns out the Locksmans, they are dead, and they were killed by Gregorus Termini. Luckily, he's dead already, but that's incidental. Yeah, so they were killed by... Well, they were killed by Gregorus Termini and or somebody working for him, but under the orders of the Prophet. So... That's interesting. But hey, what are you gonna do? I'm trying to think if there's anything else here that's important. I feel like there is, and I've forgotten. It's just quite a long sequence, but nothing really happens in terms of plot, unless I'm forgetting. I think that might be it. This is a Drawthrough, I forget everything. Right, moving on. It's part of the process that I have to forget 90% of what's in a game. So now we have been to the 3 places, and we are starting to understand what's going on with Lady Jefferson, which is her husband. Her husband kills people, and she got very angry at him for getting a child without, you know, her being involved, and lying about it and saying that it's a miracle baby. So, who knows how that could have ended? You want to fight this man for being a criminal and also just an awful human being. Fair, he's awful, yeah. Well, we'll see. But for now, we must confront Lady Jefferson. And we go back to the square where the gate was, where we needed to go, because we wanted our hand to get through that. Turns out she's a ghost. I don't know if a ghost's hand's gonna work. So what we do is we get to, there's like a big old sort of thing in the middle. I can't remember if the fight happens first or second. I imagine it happens first. So basically, Ghost arrives there, revives a whole load of soldiers that had a fight there and were all dead before you arrived. And then you have a massive fight with like 700 enemies in a very enclosed space, and Crispy finds that very stressful when he's playing games because he likes to take things slowly. There's like bushes here. Anyway, once you've done that, this fight was stupidly hard for you. I didn't have the heart to say when you first talked about it, but you said that once you'd done this fight, you moved on to the next area and didn't have any ammo. Lots of ads, many, and there's nowhere to hide. I mean, there's lots of little hiding spaces, but there's also lots of directions. You went on to the next area and didn't have much ammo. I think just around the corner from here, there are 3 vending machines, but they're like tucked away in a tiny little corner somewhere. Anyway, what's done is done. You did it though. That's the point. Yeah, and Issa gets to confront the ghost. So now I've got to draw the ghost again. It's just like sort of tattered veil. She's the ghost of Christmas murder. It's the middle of the night and you were tired. It's fun, like it really is just tucked away in this tiny little corner. This is where the wrench meta will always be superior. No wrench in this, only hook line. Hook shot? Hook. Skyhook. That's the one. What I have noticed is that all of the cool designs for enemies in this game seem completely disconnected from one another. This is one of them. The Banshee's design is cool. It's got nothing to do with anything else in the game though. So, I really don't think they knew what they wanted this game to be. And we'll see more of that soon. With my favourite design, other than chicken. But yeah, the Banshee's cool. She's got some, much like everything else in the game, really good sound design. I have no idea what it's spoilers. This is the last time I'm going to draw them. Give you hands, why not? Grabby hands. Yeah. If you want to know what's going on with the bones, ghost. So it's just sort of floating up there, and Issa's down here just sort of shouting at it. And Issa's basically like, hey, I know I've hated you for quite a while now. Ghost bones. Gones. Yeah, Issa's like, I know I hated you, and I'm pretty sure that I brought you into this world through some sort of weird, wacky machinery based on my hate, which is why you're acting the way you are. But I think we've ascertained what's going on here, and that we have the same, you know, we both hate Jefferson. He's the true villain here, and we can work together. What say you stop being a scary ghost and work with us to take down the actual, you know, bastard here. Let's stop fighting amongst ourselves. And she has a bit of sort of reconciliatory moment with her, maybe the mother, maybe not, from a different dimension, different time, different realm of physics. Yeah, she has this sort of long, shouty sort of match. And basically, it boils down to, hey, how about we stop fighting amongst ourselves and actually, you know, take on the one who caused all this to happen. Also, how are you a ghost? Massive speakers, that's how. You were also in the wrong weapon mindset for this game. You kept wanting to stick to a couple of specific weapons that you really liked. Yeah. And this game is more like Halo, where you want to pick up and go and change weapons rapidly. Yeah. I have exactly the same problem. I wanted a good pistol, like the hand cannon or something, and the carbine or a sniper rifle. That's my loadout. Don't really do machine guns or shotguns or stuff. I like precision, aim for the head kind of stuff, and then you run out of ammo very quickly. It's like this game has like 200 weapons in it. That's an exaggeration. 20 maybe. Most of which are just sort of copies. Because you get, basically for every weapon that's like from Columbia, you get a weapon from the Vox it's sort of like knockoff equivalent. So it's like double the number of weapons in the game that there really should be, and there's not much point, and the ammo doesn't you can't swap the ammo between them, so you just get different ammo for different weapons, and it's, I don't know. No, it's your exact same loadout. Yay! I was about to say Kiro and I would make a good team, but I think a good team would have the diversity, so we'd make a terrible team. Hand cannon, carbine, and sniper rifle. Nice. The hand cannon's great. It's like a shotgun in pistol form. She's like, we should stop. We know who the problem is here. Let's deal with him. That's basically the gist of what she's saying. I don't think she so much as says I forgive you or whatever, because, I mean, I don't know if she does. But at the same time, she understands. Because it was technically, from what she knew, it was Lady Jefferson who had her locked in the tower. But as far as Lady Jefferson was concerned, that wasn't her daughter. Some weird experiment science stuff was going on, and her husband's a murderer, so she's got her own stuff going on. She wasn't really worried about the kid at that point. And then not long after, she mysteriously died. Definitely by the hand of Jefferlyn Beaverworth. Who was absolutely not a scapegoat, who was there at the wrong time. Should I start actually drawing it the proper way? I'm going to start drawing it the proper way, because now I had to draw Malachi wearing this, so I might as well. She's wearing a surprisingly tight corset. Looks like a scene in a musical. Oh, Bioshock Infinite the musical. That'd be a big animatronic chicken. That'd be amazing. Or like puppeteered sort of thing, like Warhorse. But it's War Chicken. Now you were paid to see it. That sounds like a good time. I mean, this is already kind of a musical. Like, there's a lot of songs in this that just sort of appear out of nowhere. Like, Will the Circle Be Unbroken, and the various other bits and bobs. I don't know how you'd tie the rest of them in, really. God only knows. They played, do you remember right at the beginning of this Drawthrough, there was a barbershop quartet singing God Only Knows? Which is a Beach Boys song. Guess who stole that? They played that over the credits, and I was like, I would have sworn that they would have done "Will the Circle Be Unbroken," because that's like, it fits so much to the story. But then I thought about it. It's like, actually, God only knows my work for reasons we'll get to. I mean, God obviously is a big motif in this, what with prophets and such. Anyway, do you remember that gate? I don't remember that clearly because I can't find it. There it is. So after our little pep talk, Lady Jefferson has a bit of a scream, as is her wont, being a banshee. And she slowly walks up to the door, presses her hand into the mechanism, and it opens. She doesn't do that, she just bursts through. And it just destroys the gate completely. So that's one way of getting in. Yeah, she just screams, boom, massive explosion, gates burst open, and you walk through. So that's that solved. Who needs a key? Otherwise, that would just raise more questions. Yeah, no, we don't need Ghost Hand at all. Ghost Hand is irrelevant. We have now arrived at Jefferson House, which is a really cool set piece that I can't draw. And I can't draw it for several reasons. One, it's too cool. But two, it goes, again, going right back to when we started this Drawthrough. Do you remember? There was something I had to draw and I drew it so badly. So there's just this big sort of mansion in the sky. Everything's in the sky. It's a floating city. With I can't remember what it looks like. It's big and it's cool looking. And it's all you're surrounded by storm clouds at this point. There's like lightning going off. It's just big and thunderous. Should we change the sky to accommodate for that? How can I do that? Should I do it with just sort of make it like, ooh, stormy? Deeper and stormier. It was a deep and stormy night. I feel like I've just adjusted the color tint on my monitor. It feels red, but it's not. It's desaturated. It's just more grey, and we're used to seeing blue. Or I am, anyway. I don't expect anybody else to be constantly staring at this. Okay, yeah, so there's the big thing in the sky, but more importantly, apart from the fact it's surrounded by clouds, it's a very big, epic scene, culmination thing. We're arriving at Jefferson House, where Jefferson himself is. Presumably. I don't know, we haven't had confirmation of that yet, but presumably. But in particular, it's got like this big thing leading down. There's a platform that's like cantilever floating thing, which we have to activate with a thing. But like on it are just like these three, you know Mount Rushmore, right? It's like that. But with three heads of the presidencies that we've seen before. Do you remember right at the beginning? There was the Mr. Washingtons, there was the Mr. Franklins, and there was the Mr. Other one. I can't remember any of them, and I was terrible at drawing them first time. So let's give this a go. I'm gonna have to try and draw this for reasons. So there's like, if we do that, that's like Washington, right? He's got that sort of hair with the curly bit at the bottom. Non-related Jefferson, different Jefferson. Again, you chose the name Jefferson before Jefferson was incorporated into the story, so it's like tricky. Actually, George Washington's more bald, right? I did try and pay attention when I got here and then immediately forgot. I can kind of see him in my head, but I have no idea how to replicate it. I'm gonna make him angry. But yeah, there's just these massive stone heads. Again, Mount Rushmore. Think Mount Rushmore. It's Mount Rushmore, but for racists. I.e., there's no Lincoln. Is there Lincoln in Mount Rushmore? I think there's Lincoln in Mount Rushmore. This is the Washington. So Mount Rushmore. Is it more like that? Is it more? I had this trouble. He's eating chewing gum. We know that. Do you remember? George Washington was the chewing gum president. We ascertained this. That's why his teeth were all weird. Whatever. This is what it's like to chew 5 gum. Scroll key and gum. This is what we ascertained. Then there was Franklin? Benjamin Franklin, I think. He's the one with the glasses. He's also bald, right? And he's like, this is slightly more straight hair. I don't know. He looks angry too. Eh. If you'd told me you had a floating city, I wouldn't have bothered with messing around with kites. What's this baby Washington over here? It doesn't matter too much. And then there's the other one. Be so lad, this is what it feels to chew 5 gum. She's an old man looking mildly constipated and chewing gum. I mean, that's what it feels like to me. Does this one have just like the typical sort of wig of the era? I can't remember. Expect me to remember American history. Don't disagree, it's just a terrible ad. An ad telling the truth? Awful. And this one's like, I'm here as well. I have a big nose. That's how you differentiate me from the rest. I think this is accurate. Oddly more accurate, probably, than the first attempt. And I do not mean that to compliment this attempt. I mean that to disparage the first. Just give him a blank face with placeholder. I think so, yeah. It was a TBA, I think. Well, this was what was TBA. Anyway, this is all cool, and there's like clouds and lightning and stuff. It's all big and epic and scary and so on and so forth. And Issa says, "Oh, it's there. It's Jefferson House is there." And, you know, Jack is like, are you sure you want to do this? And Issa says, I'd like to see you try and stop me. And Jack says, no, that's fine. If you're not going to do it, I'm going to do it. And there's like lightning and stuff. This is a cool set piece. It looks really neat. This is what I imagined from an outdoor Bioshock. That's just the right atmosphere of just weird and creepy and stuff. But what's this? What's this on the horizon? Is it a bird? Is it a man? Probably. It's probably both, I'll be honest. It's some sort of weird experiment thing, probably stolen from Bioshock 1 by Grigoris Termini. It's Jumcum! They're here to come and say hello, and by hello I mean pick you up and throw you across the sky. So yeah, it just literally flies over, grabs hold of Jack, and just throws him through the air into a building, conveniently. I should stop drawing this and draw that instead. But they're there, just let it be known. Give smooch. They'll get a hug. Is that close enough? Oh, not again, yeah. Okay, we're in a room. It's circular, I seem to recall. And Jack's on the floor. Do not take that out of context. and very disoriented because he's just been thrown through a building. So not really in much state to be doing anything. So sort of blinking in and out of consciousness.
The circle, the unbroken.
Apparently with his shoulder being broken, my word. This is how arms work, right? Can somebody make, like, is that going to be my next highlight video? The number of times I say, is this how arms work? How do arms work? How do hands work? Jack's on the floor. Everybody walk the dinosaur. God damn it, it's Wednesday again, aka Jimmy can't call Jack a whore day. Did somebody allow that for me? That's kind of... So yeah, he's there, and there's a big hole in the wall here. You're tiny, Jack. You alright? It's not that big a room. Rude of autumn, you done upper and lowercase. Hooray! What was that word? Stew. That was it. You do uppercase stew. I think that's only going to make sense to me and Chibi. And arguably Chibi might have forgotten, because why would you remember? Wait, Automod just targeted the same word twice. Was there a punctuation mark? It gets confused by punctuation. It thinks whore and whore full stop are two different things. What did you say? I wasn't paying attention. Stew. Jack's such a stew. So that works, that's fine. Oh, so that's a whole speech marks out the way then. We get all. I think we did this before. We asked for a campaign of trying punctuation marks with the word whore, but there we are. The fact that this is not the first time this has arisen is telling, I think. I think one thing I haven't really, like, emphasized enough, and it's pretty obvious in this cutscene, is that this thing does kind of move like a bird, in a sense. Like, it sort of tilts its head and sort of moves up with sort of one eye close to it, because the eyes are on the side of the head and all that sort of stuff. It's got those sort of, like, jittery, sort of very quick movements that birds tend to do, only it's huge, so it's much more intimidating. And it seems to be made out of, like, leather. And pipes and stuff. Again, it's the big daddy of the game. Baby. I've probably drawn it too big here, but hey, you can't make Chimkin too big. Give smooch. I don't know where this goes, so I'm just gonna put it up here. So yeah, it comes in and it's like, yep, well, I'm going to stab you. And goes to just impale you on its massive, massive claws. But just before it can do it, Issa calls out and goes, "No, stop, wait, I'm sorry." And Jimkin looks around and goes, "Ooh." And Issa says, "I'm sorry I ran away from you, please don't hurt him. I didn't mean to run away." Let me draw this while I'm doing this. And Chimkin's like, "Ah, she said sorry." And it's sort of like, I may have mentioned before, it's eye. Like I draw it as like a sort of black void. It's sort of like a Magic 8 Ball sort of thing, where it's like a black void, but there's like a thing behind it that can sort of like be replaced with another thing. So there's like a little light inside, and when it's attacking you, the light is red. But as soon as Issa starts talking and saying sorry, it turns to green. And his eyes like, "Oh, green. I'm happy now. I have green eye." And it just sort of like nuzzles up against Issa with its massive head, the size of her. And just sort of looks at you on the floor. It's basically about to die. About to be impaled by the giant chicken. Baby just wants their friend back. Yeah. And she says, "Sure, take me back." Maybe I just want friend back. Because if you remember, Chicken was the only friend Issa had when she was in the tower. Maybe indeed Issa was the only friend Chicken had. She's like, "No, stop." And so yeah, the chicken grabs her and flies away. They're friends now. Issa doesn't want this to happen. Yeah, it's clear. Issa's like, "I'm doing this to stop Jack being killed." And like as they go to fly away, she like holds out her hand to Jack, and then Jack falls unconscious. Bestest friends, this is the chicken's #1. Yeah. I know what you're setting up for here, this son. I don't much appreciate it. But also true. So, yeah, she's saving Jack. Like Jack is about to get impaled on massive, massive claws. And Issa knows if she doesn't do something now, and she stabbed a person, unlikely to be able to successfully stab a massive pseudo-mechanical bird. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with the bird, to be honest, but so yeah, it's just like, "Yeah, come back. We can go back home. Yay. Happy times." And Issa's like, "I didn't want this to happen." Remember, she would rather die than go back there. But yay, friend. This is how anything works, right? I can draw. It's fine. What is this buff guy in a bird suit? Look, it's whatever. It's fine. Don't worry about it. She would rather die, but she would rather have Jack live, so I think that she's lacking commitment. That is I've said this before, but remember that. It's not quite a we'll get to that, but it's an idea worth remembering. They can go live happily together in Paris, best as family, yay! They can go to a new city and have wonderful times there. I'm just gonna have this be wall so that I don't have to have it make sense. Yeah, and so she flies away. And Jack's, no, I was about to say when Jack finally awakens. No, doesn't finally awake, well he does eventually, but before that, we need to scroll way back and find something, probably around here actually. Yeah, that'll do. Do. Jack has he's having the office dream again. How did Jack not die by getting thrown for a building? How did he not die from falling 300 feet into a artificial sea? Do you want to know the answer to that, miss? Do you want to know the answer? It's because he doesn't row. What's when? Good question. Why do you ask what's when the delicious question is when's why? Oh, Jack should have died. His health was in red this whole time. Wonderful. Okay. He's having the office dream again. We've had this before, mostly while we were drowning, but this time we're not drowning. We just got knocked unconscious by a giant mechanical bird. What's the problem? I'm gonna guess Issa's hair is now adjusted according to the qualities of the story, so I might as well get the do up to date. No ponytail no more. No nice shirt or what have you. Just a surprisingly tight corset. It really does not look comfortable. But then again, corsets never do. Does anyone here worn a corset? They really don't look comfortable. And I know that's not a controversial opinion. I'm not breaking any ground here by saying this. Yes, yeah, you have not won, of course. Well, that's 2 votes against 1, so Chibi, I'm afraid you have worn a corset. Really depends on whether, on the corset, whether they look comfortable to you. I guess it depends on whether or not the silhouette that you get from wearing the corset actually looks human. Is that how that works? Yeah, we took a vote. So that's something like that, right? Cool. Up to date. You always wince whenever you got a good look at Issa in that outfit. Yeah. Well, you can wince later. There is a part later that always makes me wince, but actually there's a couple of parts in very quick succession which makes me wince. I'm not going to be able to properly communicate either of them through drawing, but you know. How would you know she was a girl if she didn't wear a really tight corset? To be fair, it was her mum who wore the corset. She was just wearing a shirt. But she inherited her mum's corset, which is a weird thing to say, but you know, corsets are probably quite expensive. Why not inherit? Okay, this time though, unlike so previously in the office dream, somebody's been banging on the door and opening up and open up, Mr. Walters, bring us the girl, wipe away the debt, etc., etc. This time, however, different circumstances. No opening up required. Absolutely. Because... Is the door open? The door might be open. Let's say the door's open just so I don't have to do anything with that. How big was her mother? Big enough not to row? I largely said that to annoy Chippy. But by the same token, it's not an unfeasible answer. That's the great thing about that answer, is it can kind of be used for anything in this game. It's this game's version of because. Yeah, instead, we actually have the people inside today. Hooray! Or some people, anyway. This is a dream. Who knows if this makes any sense. There are 2 people here. In fact, I might as well save myself some time and put up a symmetrical thing, so I don't have to draw both of them in rough human form separately. They're quite... Okay, I was about to say they're quite small. No, they're not. There we go. Problem solved. Perspective. It's all relative. Okay. Roam, your boat? It could be worse, I could be saying cungulus. As far as I know, this game contains 0 cungulus. I did remember, actually, I was, because my Googology video is actually doing surprisingly well. It's got like over 100 views. And people just keep, and then that weird comment that I got the other day, which is apparently a Homestar. No, it was today, wasn't it? That reminded me of it, and I had to look at it. And I was thinking, oh, I wonder whether I should do another one, because there's loads of weird numbers. And then I remembered that there was a word that was worse than cungulus. It's like, can I do that? So I got to throw potatoes on my window. No! What is the proportions here? We're not at that point in the game yet. Almost then. Whoops. Does the closed captions register that as a word? What, cungulus? It said CD, so no. It didn't even try. And I don't blame it. Oops. Nope, I see what you're trying to do there. There we go. CD, ABCD. Learn the alphabet with cungulus. Why can I... I'm bad. I'm bad. I'm bad. I know it. I'm really, really bad. You know I'm bad. Da-ba-da-da-da-da. Shoes. So everyone comes here to see me drawing shoes. So the punchline is these two again. And I haven't drawn them very well, but it's fine, it's them. It's them! They're the ones who, well, in the dream at least, they're the ones who are at the door, and they're the ones that are saying, bring us the girl and wipe away the debt! It's them! It was a weird wibbly wobbly voice before. I mean, to be fair, if you listen to the voice, it is mostly the guy's voice, but whatever. They're both there. And they're the ones that bring us to go wipe away the debt. And they're standing in front of the door. And that's the door you normally go out to get out of the dream. This time, however, there's another door. A door that was locked previously. That's not how perspective works.
It's locked.
Perfect. Only this time it is not. There is another door. Over here. In strange perspective. And this time you go through that door, not the other one. Ooh, mysterious. It's a door. So we don't get to see New York getting bombed this time.
The trapdoor is stuck.
Not a trapdoor. Come on, Jack, you can do it. Also, that's
Well, that's just swell.
Okay, you can't do it. Jack. Look, if Jack was in any way competent,
shut, and that's the way they're gonna stay.
Great. Well, I can't exactly argue with that, can I? Anyways, there's a handle on the door. Wrong side of the door, doesn't matter. You open that, and you go through that, and you wake up. Boom, you wake up back in the back here. Only the bird's gone. It's sealed shut. Okay, you stay in the dream forever, and the game ends. Hooray! Thanks everyone for coming to the Drawthrough. It was a very satisfying end. We're not free. Not long though, to be honest. I think. Oh, hang on, wrong thing. Whoops. You got the whole. Not that one. That one. You can see. You can see my program now. You can see all my brushes and such. And my my number layering layer numbering system, i.e. the default. Shrek, yeah, Shrek is that. Sorry, I jump scared you with Shrek. That was Dark's fault, all right. Dark made me look at it. Infinite Shreks. This stream's taking a turn for the weird, isn't it? And that's saying something about Bioshock Infinite, right? Yeah, so now, this time, we wake up, we immediately jump out of this building. No, it's time to say you have to bounce. That's fair. You've seen chicken. Let's have a good time. Yeah, thanks for hopping along. Hope you have a good time. Hope you enjoy whatever the rest of the week throws at you. And if not, throw it back. Enjoy the rest. You enjoy the rest. What? Enjoy the rest, by which I mean go and rest. This was only here for chicken, and I do not blame her. Chicken is good. Right, so yeah, we jump out of the building. And we leg it across this massive bridge that's sort of slowly assembling itself as we go through. As we're doing so, Jack is shouting all sorts of obscenities at the chicken that is not there. So come back here, you son of a bitch, etc., etc. If you lay a finger on her, so help me, I'll blood, things and things. Ah, I'm angry. Actual emotion. Can't get a proper smile. I know, I tried to get Em to smile, but it didn't work. Look forward to Chris and drawing chicken, enjoying their life with best friend Issa. Yeah. It'll be a lovely, lovely time. Maybe they'll go somewhere by the ocean. Jack, actual emotion. Yeah, he's angry. It doesn't last long though, so hold on to your hats. That's how you can tell his emotion. Big eyebrows. Come back here. Again, surprisingly agile for somebody who's just almost died. But that's fine. He doesn't rope. And yeah, you run across this bridge and now get him up in face. It does look a bit sort of... Anyway, yeah, you run across the bridge and you're shouting, and then clouds like form around you, and it's like, oh god, you're running straight into a horrible storm, and there's many clouds that, oh, my computer does not want me to render apparently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. It's a cheat. Is he going to go, oh, cloud cover, oh no, oh, can't see anything. Oh, there are clouds absolutely everywhere. This isn't going to work, so I'm going to try it anyway. Perfect. This will look amazing. And then as the clouds slowly, it's not terrible. As the clouds slowly fade in, there's snow everywhere. That's what this is. Suddenly snow. And Jack remarks that that's slightly strange, what with it being July. But we're also like in the clouds, so I don't know entirely what's strange anymore. Like snow on the thing. Yeah, so that'll be better. Or the stream break. No, it's fine. Color came in blocks. Yeah, I don't know why it does that. There's a whole lot of bushes. No, snow! Imagine the weather does a whole bunch of weird stuff when you live in the sky. I did watch somebody, a physicist, go like, okay, here's all the problems with actually living in the sky. And yeah, being in clouds is one of them. Because there was a thing where like a paratrooper was like jumped out of a plane and they went through a cloud along the way, and every single bone in their body was broken. Every single one. Just buffeting all the way through. Like, I imagine that was a particular cloud. There's like a hail cloud or something. But still, that cannot have been a nice experience. Imagine if your house goes through that, right? Anyway, weird weather. Suddenly, snow. Just a little bit. A little bit cold. And we arrive at the gates of the thing. The steps that lead up there. Because we're still going. We've got to find Issa. We got up the steps. These are steps. We arrive at the gates of hell. It's frozen over. Although the center of hell, according to Dante, is supposed to be cold anyway. Well, it's supposed to be frozen. There's no light. And the flapping of Lucifer's wings causes everything to freeze. Meanwhile, jazz trumpet. Yeah, we arrive here, and we find a tear just on the steps, which we could listen through. Turns out we don't need Issa for them to be there. They're just there now. And through the tear, we can hear Issa. Issa basically pleading and saying, no, don't take me back to the tower, please. And then the tear closes up. And then we get a little bit further, and then we find another tear, and the tear's like, oh no, please just take me back to the tower. And somebody's saying, you destroyed the tower. It's pretty difficult to take you back there. You made your decision. And then we arrive inside the building. Inside Jefferson House. Where we find a statue. Big old statue. So many bloody statues. Bioshock has a thing for statues, but then again, Bioshock has a thing for people with an ego. So it's par for the course, I guess. I can't remember the exact sort of pose. There's a sword involved somewhere. Just sort of like... Maybe they're looking there. It's like that, so it's holding the sort of like a sabery sort of thing. I'm not sure why it's holding a sword. I think it is. I only saw it the other day. But hey, you know my memory. I hope someone does. Still don't get the dimension hopping thing, not because you didn't explain it well, just on principle. If Issa is in another dimension now, then what's the point of us still being here? Does it matter? Is there another version of Issa? These are reasonable questions. In any other story, I would say that's a valid thing to ask. In this story, all I'm going to say is that it probably won't matter. Are we still in that dimension that isn't our own? Let me finish this drawing. I'm gonna assume that yes. We are still not in the dimension we started in. That technically isn't the question you asked, but I can't answer that question yet. Don't worry about it. This game does not make my life easy when answering these questions. And like I say, I'm going to answer a slightly different question to the one you asked, and I'm going to say that I think we are still in the dimension. We are still in the universe. The dimension that we started the stream in. Yeah, and I'm sorry. It's not my. What does keep happening to you? You ask just the either best or worst questions. It depends on your perspective. For the purposes of the draw through, just the absolute worst. I can't answer them. For the purposes of the game, you're preempting a lot. How do I? This is an interesting question. Up until now, whenever I've done like eyes for statues, I've just done those sort of like hollow circles to make it clear that it's a statue. This is a statue of Issa. So how do I do the eyes? It's gonna look weird if I do that. What if I do that? Am I gonna have to do like that? Sort of undercuts the. Make an absurd joke, we'll get to that. You ask a legit question, yeah. We'll get to that. You just preempt everything is the problem. Now, is there a statue of Issa here? Good question. That's what I meant by it's slightly complicated as to whether there is a difference between are we There is a question to be asked as to whether or not that sudden change of weather implicates other changes. With the right hairstyle, yeah. What's when? Sure, should we skip straight to that? Actually, no, I think that does happen right now. Cool, let's do that then. Okay. Also, underneath here are like, there's like some bulletin boards down here with like people's pictures on it with like traitor and coward and pacifist and unbeliever and all that sort of stuff on with like sort of like public shaming boards, I guess. And as soon as you come in, there is a voiceover, much in the same way that you've been hearing like Lord Jefferson delivering his prophecies and saying to people, the false shepherd is here, etc., etc. Only this time, it's not Lord Jefferson, it's Issa. And Issa is now the one delivering the strange prophetic nonsense, talking about, you know, God giving man the opportunity to have a new Eden and the Sodom below, etc., etc. Albeit the things she's saying sound a little harsher. She's talking about how, like, you know, God gave man the opportunity, and then the Garden of Eden. Then Eve took the apple, and so God kicked them out of the Garden of Eden, and then it gave them the rest of the world, and then they made the Sodom and all that sort of stuff. So they sent a flood, and so on and so forth. And basically, she's saying, "I'm going to do the same." Man has proven that it can't, you know, be sinless without itself. And thus I will bring a flood. I too was led astray by a false shepherd. But I've seen the light and I know, etc., etc., etc. Her voice actor is incredible. She does this authoritative tone quite well because it's not one you've really heard up until now. What do you mean? Good question. Why do you say what? When the delicious question is when. I can copy and paste them from somewhere else. Where are we? After that. Just after that. Close enough, I can use this. Yeah, ignore that bit. Yeah, you get to a doorway and a couple of people appear in the doorway. And, you know, you say, what on earth is going on here? And they say, why do you say what when the delicious question is when? Dies, died, will die. Lives, lived, will live. These two appear again. Ignore the dead body. That's not there. This looks more like them. Do you know what? Now Miss is here. Miss is not here, rather. I can actually say, when I was looking through like references for these characters and so on and so forth, Flora, this one. Can't draw an arrow. It's close enough. Artist cannot draw arrow. Looks a lot like Miss. Like a lot. I didn't realise before. So I didn't know before. But yeah, so the gist, they don't stick around for long this time. They literally just turn up and say, why would you ask why when the delicious question is when? Dies, died, will die. Lives, lived, will live. Boom, gone. And then you get to carry on and walk through the rest of this place. All the while hearing strange evangelical speeches from Issa over at Tannoy. This is just in a doorway somewhere. It's fine. You don't want your questions to be delicious, you want answers. You'll get them. Well, some of them. You'll get some of them from the game, and then you'll get the rest of them from me trying to explain what the game meant. Emphasis on trying. Right. Now you go into the building proper. This building's weird. It has an atmosphere that I will not be able to convey. It's creepy. And it's just like dilapidated. Things are broken, debris on the floor. It's just a mess. And there are people here. People? Question mark. There are figures here. So there's one here. They're not really doing anything. They're just sort of standing around, just looking weird and not really moving. This one here, and they're all wearing sort of like, I think they're all wearing like long johns or something, some sort of all over onesie sort of thing. Just sort of not, again, slightly disgusting. But there's something interesting. Well, there's a couple of things that are interesting about them. One, they're all slightly glitching out. We've seen that glitch effect before, particularly on the tears. These people are having that sort of similar thing going on. Uncomfortable. Yeah. I don't really know what's going on with this, and I think that's the point. Something's happened here. It is ascertainable that something is happening here. Or something has happened here. I don't know what's going on with the feet. They're probably barefoot, to be honest. Which seems very dangerous, so that's also probably the least of their worries. Like I said, they're just sort of standing around, just sort of not doing much. Just in weird positions. Being ever so slightly glitchy, which I would normally illustrate with doing stuff like that, but frankly the sketches are too sketchy that you probably wouldn't realise. See what I mean about looking like this. I know, right? I don't think Miss will take kindly to me pointing out that she looks exactly like a character who has the most posh English voice. But one of the interesting things about these people is that they're all wearing like full head masks. And those masks are, well, we've seen them before throughout the game, although I haven't really drawn them before because I probably should have done, but I am bad. They are masks of the presidents. The big. You remember the big heads that I drew on the outside of the building? It's like those. So there's like George Washington ones and Benjamin Franklin ones, stuff like that, and they've just got sort of big blank eyes and all that sort of stuff. So here's the gum one. 100% Michigan do posh English. Oh, I'm sure she can. But let's face it, don't call a Scottish person English, is all I'm saying. This is going to be the one with the glasses. Yeah, they've got these sort of like, they feel like porcelain. I don't know if they're porcelain, but they're like fake heads, just on, and they're just sort of, just I don't know, standing around, just being weird and glitching out and strange. No one's explicitly hostile. It's just unsettling. Who was the third one? Oh yeah, it was TBA, wasn't it? What I think I did with this. So yeah, this place, like, if I had to pin an area in the game that had what I would consider the right atmosphere for a Bioshock game, it would be this. This is something interesting and cool. And very creepy. And I will not do it justice. Big Nose, Big Nose defined this one, didn't it? And the heads are all slightly too big, obviously, because they're like put on top of the actual head. I don't want to get into, you know, disassembling this game before we finished. But this area in particular just makes me think that this game consisted of a lot of ideas, none of which really worked well together, but alone could have been developed into a cool idea. This whole area could have been its own game. There's not a lot in it, but you could easily develop it into its own thing. And I would have been very happy. But hey. This game tried to do a lot at once and none of it actually worked together. Anyway, yeah, you got all these people just sort of standing around in this, like, there's just broken beds and weird mattresses on the floor and debris and dust, and there's all broken windows, and the storm clouds are still raging outside. It's very dark and gloomy. Browsing concept art, there's a lot of good stuff they didn't use. I know! This is what got me first thinking about this. I have the concept art book, and the first third of the book is unused concepts that are amazing! Speaking of unused concepts that are amazing, someone else is here. These strange people with masks are not alone, because there is another strange person with another mask. Did they just decide to distance it from the other games? I don't know. Again, it comes across to me as like they had a lot of ideas and they didn't really have any particular idea that they wanted to flesh out fully, and they just ended up crossing everything into everything else, and it just, I don't know. I can only assume from what I've seen. And this is probably creepy, but this post just made you laugh. That's fair. What does it help to know that they're wearing shorts? And like socks that go up here. This is a fun area to play in the middle of the night, yeah. So he's wearing a sort of school uniform-y sort of thing. It feels like I say, shorts and sort of button-up bits and all that sort of stuff. The big sleeves. This is a frat boy. You got one of the words right. Baguette boy? Not quite. This is what I believe the game refers to as one of the Boys of Silence. And it really, like, I'm not going to do it justice. It's really quite creepy. It's going to look silly when I draw it. But hey, what are you going to do? A lot of this is in like the movement and the sound design and all these sorts of things. But basically the conceit behind these friends is they can see you and they can hear you. And when they see you and they hear you, they scream. And when they scream, all of these friends get upset. And they start coming after you. So these are the Boys of Silence, and they basically got like a light shining out of their mouth head area. And if they see you in that searchlight, you get caught. It's a very simple mechanic of like, it's looking at the thing, but it's just like the way they sort of look around and they skulk and they're like, they make very strange noises, like there's kind of an old computer booting up, but screaming. Or just they design their movement, what they do, yeah. And once they do see you, they scream and then they explode into a puff of smoke and disappear. Noise boys, Boys of Silence. Shh. Originally, and this is what I mean by failed or unused concept. Apparently, I looked this up beforehand, just before the stream. Apparently, in their original design was that they were noise boys rather than Boys of Silence. They would essentially like absorb any noise you made and then hurl it back at you as a shockwave. But apparently, in test plays, people didn't actually understand what was going on, so they just scrapped it and turned it into a searchlight. But yeah, these are just really creepy. I think it's just sort of like the brass stops there, and then there's like some like cloth coming down here, and it's like locked in place or something. And this is like a sort of, there isn't really anything behind here where you would expect the head to be. Noise boys. This is an area where stealth is good. This is the area where you use stealth. You avoid being seen by these things with their massive mouth searchlight. And there's like a big poster up before when you come in that says like, no sin evades their gaze or something like that. So yeah, that's the thing. Anyway, it sees you, it has to, so it teaches you the mechanic. And then you fight all of these friends, whether you have ammo or not. The game will not give you any. These guys do not drop any. I definitely remember that from my first playthrough. Yeah. And the one thing that's quite interesting about this design, actually, just as an aside, I had a look on the wiki to sort of look at the costume and stuff like, because it's, I don't know what it is. It's like simultaneously kind of silly and really creepy. But apparently there's a design that's quite similar on an old wartime propaganda poster. But the thing that it reminds me of is something that I took inspiration from a thing that I did ages ago. Which is, it was called the, no, my thing was called the Isolationists. I think it's just called the Isolator. And it's just this helmet that was developed for students to make them concentrate. And it basically, like, it was this huge padded helmet, so they had no peripheral vision, they couldn't hear, they couldn't smell, they couldn't get distracted by anything, and they had to focus on their work. And it's just this really huge, creepy helmet. And it makes me think of this. Didn't have the tubes on the side, but whatever. It's the opposite. I guess this is supposed to, like, increase sensory stuff. You can't find any good videos of them to show, sadly. Yeah, it's like... They are a thing to be experienced, and I'm only sad that I won't be able to do them justice. Anyway, you come up against a door and it's locked. And you need to go up this place in order to find the key to unlock. Well, in order to pull a lever in a control room so that you can unlock the door and walk through. Actually, I think it's unlocking the door that's when you meet the locksmans. So we met them early. It doesn't particularly matter. Anyway, yes, and you go up this place. I don't really think there's anything specifically to draw going up here. There's just lots of little set pieces that are all kind of creepy. You start learning certain things. You're hearing more of these speeches by Issa over the sort of intercom system. This place is just in ruins, and it's got like weird signs up. Like instead of like, you know, sleeping quarters or dormitory, it says where we sleep. Instead of like, you know, school or education facility, it just says where we learn. And instead of morgue, it says where we weep. And like all the signs are it's just strange symbology that doesn't, it feels weird. I really can't sort of pin it down. But yeah, you pick up like things as you go along, and you're sort of getting two ideas of... You're listening over the intercom, you're listening to what Issa's saying, and she's doing the whole evangelical thing of like, the Sodom will burn and mankind will learn from its mistakes, etc., etc. But you're also picking up audio diaries. And some of those are from Issa as well. And they express regret for the things that she's done, and that she wants to try and make amends, but there's only one way of making amends, and it might be too late for that. So you're getting a kind of weird dichotomy situation. Anyway, you come across the thing. You fight your way up. I'm not, again, if there is one big regret I'm going to have in this whole... There's audio dies. Yeah, it's like... Only too late she realizes what she's done, and there's going to be... there might be a way out, but not for me, but there might be a way out for her, if only... It's complicated. Anyway, yes, you come across a thing. Right. You get to the control room. So you get up to the top, avoiding all of the Boys of Silence. So you're very grave and, yeah, very, very serious, sort of like mournful, almost sort of like full of regret. Bad times. This has not been going well. And it contrasts very well with this powerful sort of evangelical voice that she's giving over the intercom. How do you face? How to face? I've probably asked that before today. But hey, here we go. Nose. So yeah, you're just trying to find a way through. You've got to try and get to Issa, try and work out what's going on. This is all a bit weird. And so you get to the top. And you find the lever. Yeah, you get the sense of something very important has happened and you've missed it. Oh, I should probably explain this as well. You find more tears as you go through. Completely forgot about the tears. Very important to get the tears because it answers questions for Chibi. And you start hearing, I mentioned that there was somebody at the beginning who was like, well, you've destroyed your tower. You know, you can't exactly go back. You've made your choice. This person is credited as a doctor in the subtitles. And there's sort of like more and more from this doctor. And she's like, oh, please let me go, so on and so forth. And he's like, no, you're here now. And there's a point where he's like, hey, you know, here's some food. You should probably eat. You haven't eaten for a while. You're not really expecting him to come and save you, right? You're not expecting Jack to come and save you, are you? Because it's been a few months. He hasn't come so far. And he says, like, he'll come. And then slowly but surely you get sort of more and more audio entries which are implying that time has passed. Quite a lot of time has passed between us being knocked unconscious and entering this building. How dare you do this, Teresa? And I think there's actually one of like Father Jefferson sort of coming in. This one I think is by a chair that's very creepy. It's like a dentist chair, isn't it? No. Oh, that's it. Yeah, there's one Father Jefferson, and he's talking to her, and he's like, you will understand, I do this for you, etc., etc. And then there's a conversation between Father Jefferson and a doctor, and he's like, I don't exactly know, Father, I'm not entirely sure, you know, that we'll be able to cure your daughter, with the medicine, with sort of modern medicines and so on and so forth. And Father Jefferson goes, do not worry, I have foreseen what occurs. My daughter is afflicted with several maladies, one of which your modern science will cure her of, and the rest, the rest will be cured. What does he say? So your modern science will cure her of the physical aspects. However, there is a spiritual aspect with which she is afflicted, which will be my domain. And the doctor says, what is that? And he says, hope. So basically they're trying to break her. Which is not a good time. There's some indoctrination stuff going on here, and there's like subliminal messages and some bits of footage and all these sorts of things. Why are you squatting, Jack? You're strange. He saw the Boy of Silence doing it and he wanted to join in. Why not? Something akin to that. Also, that's supposed to be a shirt. Made it look a little bit too much like it's supposed to be like a tucked in shirt or something like that. Do it should be put into Scott Jack. Maybe that'll make you more capable. Anyway, you finally, after all this, you finally get up to the control room. You pull the lever so that you've opened the door so you can go down, and then you turn around, and then that's that. I like that bit. That's a good bit. It's a good jump scare. You just turn around and then it's there and it screams in your face. And now everyone knows that you're here, and there's lots of gunfire, and it's a commotion. People come out with masks and they're shooting you with guns. Scary times. Noise boys! Noise boys are here. Does a big scream. Yeah, so now you have to shoot your way down. Did you avoid everyone at this point? Oh, tough luck. Now you've got to shoot people. As his noise boy goes, ah, like that. And you work your way down. After noise boy goes, ah. I like this bit, but it is basically copied from the Bioshock one. Doesn't matter. After Noise Boys goes out, this basically Poppy from the shop. I did not say that, captions. I did not say basically goes Poppy from the shop. See, had Jack had the power of wrench, he could have killed everything silently before. If you try and kill these Noise Boys, they just scream and disappear. Because they have the power of the void. So oh, that's another thing I should say. Speaking of indoctrination, evangelical Issa talks about indoctrination of people and how her subjects are essentially better off without choice. Yeah, it's like my subjects are without flaw, without sin, and without choice. Something like that. And how the best way for the mind to be pure is to subject itself to all the versions of itself, and then it will either break or become pure, or something like that. Basically, these people have all been driven mad. Outsider, are you there? Power of the Void? It's got that kind of effect, really. That's one of the reasons I sort of feel that Dishonored is the spiritual successor to Bioshock. Don't know what's the spiritual successor to Bioshock. Spiritual successor to Dishonored. That hasn't yet arrived, but Prey could have been that, but it was basically a less interesting System Shock. The Noise Boys work for the Outsider, maybe. Can you work them into your campaign? They're designed with an old school aesthetic. Their helmet is made of brass. Everything else is like leather fastenings and cloth. It's not impossible. If you want to. Their design's good. I love their design. Not gonna lie, the melee attack is actually what saved you when you first started doing this area. You had a perk that gave you the chance of killing enemies in one electrical hit while doing melee, and another perk that gave you health if you killed with melee. You were hurting when you started this area. Great. Synergy! What are they actually called? They're called the Boys of Silence. Yeah, and they're sort of like simultaneously kind of goofy out of context and really creepy in context. So, and we will never see them again. Again, so many wasted ideas in this thing. I'm glad I got this right though. I drew this just before the stream, and I added a little line here so that I would know, okay, if I keep the canvas over that line, then I can turn the layer on without anyone seeing that I turned it on, so I can go boo like that. I like stuff like that. It's just me. You'll definitely not be writing that down and perhaps using them as an enemy, don't worry. It'll be fine. Which reminds me, we should probably do another session of Dishonored, shouldn't we? It's been a while. Priya used Blink. The Boys of Silence heard that. Yes, and we go through the door and we arrive at a crossroads. One of the crossroads points to a locked door, or gated door, that says operating room. Can't go there, it's locked. But you can go left. And if you go left, you find like a destroyed staircase leading up to a balcony. There's like sort of, it's supposed to be a staircase, but it's just all sort of rubble. Like auto-saving. Good for them, Priya, it's no longer there. More RPGs after Wildermyth. We were talking about doing a D&D one-shot on... or people were talking about the idea of doing a D&D one-shot on the Saturday streams or whatever. And I was like, I've never done a D&D, and I'm not really interested in sort of fantasy characters, so what would I do if I was in that? And my immediate thought was, wait! Honey hunting dwarf. So I might make a honey hunter character. More noise boys. Now what you see at the top of the staircase is a silhouette. Silhouetted against the thunderous skies behind. It leads to a balcony outside. And the silhouette is... poorly rendered. That's what the silhouette is. I don't normally draw in silhouette. I can always tell when there's a hole in the lines that I'm trying to fill, because Clip Studio just goes, hang on a second, I'll work this out. And I'm like, nope, you shouldn't take that long to work it out. Back we go. We do an RPG of the fantasy worst jobs. We claim Weaver Elf. No, the orc. Oh, the orc midwife. What was it? It was honey hunting dwarf, elven embroiderer / weaver. What was it, like? Hobbit PA or something? It's like Hobbit like intermediary or mediator or something like that. Orc midwife. Ent matchmaker. I'm pretty sure that was one of them. Anyway. Yeah, and you see a silhouette, which looks remarkably like Issa's silhouette. Trust me, it is, honestly. That's definitely what it's supposed to look like. And indeed, you hear Issa's voice. And she says, Jack, you're here. Now here's a question. Do I leave on that cliffhanger? Or do I go one step further? Is that a good place to stop? I feel like it's a good hook to stop on. Orc merchant or something in the chart thing you saw? Now, top of the charts, coming at number 7, Orc merchant. Orc merchant. Yeah, let's stop there. We'll stop at silhouette. This is a good place to stop. The fact that I drew a silhouette and I didn't draw Issa is it's obvious something is different. Your brain can't handle more. Hooray! Next time. We really don't have that much left. Again, a lot of these late game areas, outside of the sort of big cutscenes, they're just mostly gameplay. You gotta take your noise boys and peace out. They're good. They're good. Do something with the design. This game didn't. Yeah. We can't finish tomorrow. Not tomorrow, next week. But I think we can do it in 2. Yeah, 2 more streams, I reckon. I reckon we can get to the beginning of the end cutscene next time. And then the last time can be just the end cutscene. And conversations thereof, trying to explain anything that happened. At least 2 more, I reckon we can easily do it in 2. But then again, I thought this would be a 10-part series, and this is part 11, so... What are you gonna do? Yeah, thanks for coming along. I hope you enjoyed Noise Boys. They're the best part of the game. There's some really good concept art in this game. It's just nothing in this game coheres. But we'll talk about that later. Noise Boys are yours now. Yeah. I hope you do better with them than their original source material. Which feels appropriate. You are the AUer. Found the thing you decided to latch onto. I never know what it's gonna be. I never know. I thought it might be the Locksmans. There's certainly me and Miss latched onto them. I couldn't do them justice because of the way they speak with each other and their very specific manners of. I don't know. I couldn't do them justice anyway. There's a lot of things in this game I can't do justice. I can only explain the terrible stuff. But this game is alone is worth it for Chicken, the Locksmans, and the Boys of Silence. So, Noise Boys. And the ending. But we'll get to that. He doesn't row. So, thanks for coming along. I will be back. We will be back on Saturday with that is definitely the I definitely made a parsnip for this. Overcooked. It's so overcooked. It's a different game. You like the Locksmans and Chicken, but Noise Boys are yours. Yeah, that's good. That means I can keep the Locksmans. This can have Chicken. I can have the Locksmans. You can have Noise Boys. Any parsnip will do for Overcooked. Yeah. All very good things. Unless Kira wants something. Kira, what do you want from this game? How about the hand cannon, so that you actually have something to shoot with? But it doesn't carry much. I'm going to give you the hand cannon and all with infinite ammo. Hand cannon and a bandana. We just got a bandana from Metal Gear Solid, and I'll give you that. Can't wait to get sweaty again on Saturday. It's. I think we talked about this after the stream. Like I stream standing up. I've got a little adjustable desk, sit-stand desk, and I stream standing up, and there was so much leg action going on with while playing Overcooked last time that if I were sitting down, you would have constantly heard my chair. So it's a lot. Overcooked is a lot. But hopefully we'll have Christy joining us next time. Maybe also Lewis hopping in hot seat. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but we'll work it out. We'll work something out. Oh, Issa. You can have Issa. Issa's good. Issa may very well be the only good character in the game. Other than the Locksmans. Well, the Locksmans are whatever they are. True neutral, I guess. They're not good. Lawful neutral? Okay, lawful neutral. But the law that they're following is weird. So, the law of physics. She, the twins, and the baby are your favs. Yeah. Nice. I do like that. How there's Chicken, there's the Locksmans, there's the Boys of Silence, there's Issa, and basically none of them are connected. I guess Chicken and Issa are kind of. Which came first, Chicken or the Issa? They're connected in their story somewhat, I guess. You feel left out. You were chill the whole time, but getting angry at fire. Fire it's an annoying mechanic. But then again, most mechanics are. That's the point in that game. Adding mechanics is just to annoy you. And we will discover more of them on Saturday. I assume there will be a Chibi Nether's Day tomorrow. Maybe more Wart ales. Yeah. Presumably, yes. Hooray! What's annoying is that the last stream, I missed most of the last stream. I had it on, but I couldn't pay much attention to it because I was recording a song for a video, and then I had to take that song out. So I missed that stream for nothing. I knew that would happen, but I wanted to do it. Yeah, I missed good Apple times. So if you want some good Apple times, you missed Mal cutting so many throats. It just makes me want to do the Dishonored comic. I was considering booting that up again. I think I probably will. I've got a couple of Why We Didn't Finish comics for the Outliers, and then I think I might start seriously on the Dishonored one. Not that there's any throat cutting in it, but something similar. Rufus getting undressed to fix this shield. Poor Rufus. Of all of them, well, actually, M probably wouldn't like it either, but so much like an Outliers comic. I don't know how you'd work it though. That's the thing. It's just it's the thing that works with the characters, but like, how would you explain it in any context outside of the streams? Yeah, I don't know. Things. Shieldbreak's gotta get naked. Yeah, so hopefully I can do a couple of why we didn't finish comics. I'm going to do some standalone illustrations to go with them and some videos to go along with those. I need to print the inscription cards as well as send off a couple of sticker sheets for Patreons. Hopefully I think I have a way of printing off both of them at the same price as just one of them. What have you. It's nothing significantly special, it's just a bunch of, you know, it's been a long time since I've done sticker sheets, and I've done a lot of drawings since then. You know, like assets for videos and parsnips and all that sort of stuff. I thought it'd be nice to get some of the good ones and make sticker sheets out of them. I also need to print off the other Outliers and October and Company trading card things for patrons, and then hopefully that'll be it to send out. I think there was something else. Can't remember what it was. Anyway, stuff. So I've got probably a bunch of printing to do tomorrow. But yeah, there'll be a Chibi Nethers Day to have on while I'm doing it. And have a good friend times. All the stickies for you. Yeah. Stuff. I'm sure there was something else I was going to say, but it's gone. So yeah, Saturday, Overcooked. Sunday, Friend Draws. Tuesday, Hitman Codename 47. The first game, which looks jank as all hell, but it's going to be panicky times. And then back to this next Wednesday. Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for coming along. I hope you're enjoying the absolute nonsense that is this game. And I'll see you soon. Goodbye. Thank you very much. Bye. Bye. Goodbye.